have Icy Snake as map 5. So,
which is the newest one that we saw in the step last week.
Yes, and that is the map that Binkss has chosen. Binkss picked Icy Snake as the first map. Papou picked Launchpad. Bren picked Bolt Holes. Spam picked Poolside and Pole Party. So we have Icy Snake, Launchpad, Bolt Holes, Poolside, and Pole Party. But guys, we really just have to get on the server. They're starting in just 2 minutes. The players are warming up, but let's hop in there and really take a look at what they are working on. And Majijej, just looking at the players going into this match, we are missing one big name. Do you spot who we're missing?
Who could that be? I don't think I see Carl Jr. anywhere, do I?
Yeah, Carl Jr. is not playing this week.
Missing a Canadian.
He is not attending the final chance, so he's gonna actually have to play the head-to-head in January to defend this spot. That is the only chance he can defend because he isn't able to play this weekend.
Is that going to be against the top players of, or top player of Challenger?
Yeah, so no, that is first against the other players in the bottom 4, and then if he loses, it's against the challengers.
Okay. Ooh, that's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
So looking at the players who are here though, we have Binkss, who was the best performing in the regular season, ahead of Papou, very close by. And then Spam and Brad, like Spam had the heroic last step where he got X5.
Yes, he got a lot of points last step.
Yeah, and that does actually give him a favorable spot as he could pick maps. Whereas players like Worker, Kappa, and Tween, they still have an equal chance to qualify, except they didn't get to choose maps here.
Yes. I know Bren was the person that got most points without the multiplier, right?
Exactly,
so
he was.
It's kind of surprising to see him here, but he did not get that big of a multiplier, and that's why we see him in the bottom 8 and the final chance.
And it's also very interesting now, because then you'd think, okay, maybe now in this format he has a good chance when he doesn't have to win an exact round, but he could win any round. But the thing is also they're playing in 1 lap format.
Yeah, that's going to be very different.
So it's a completely different dynamic to 6 laps, where you want to think, okay, it's a long race. As long as I don't crash, I can beat my opponents. Here, if you aren't crashing a couple rounds, I think you're playing it too safe.
Yeah, you really have to go for it. Like, you can't have any tiny mistake that one round. You just have to drive extremely well every single round.
Yeah, because the thing is, the way the format works, only the winner gets something, the losers get nothing. So there's really going to be one player who wins a point per round. So if you're not risking a little bit extra to try to secure the point, that might cost you in the long run. But out of these players, there will only be 1 eliminated in the first round. So most of the players here are going to get a second chance in the next round.
But if you end up getting second every single time, you're still not going to win.
Yeah.
You have to win.
And that makes it very interesting. We are starting up here in just 8 seconds. So ladies and gentlemen, get some hype in the chat for the final chance. Here we go.
I'm very excited to see how this goes. I have no idea how the players are going to go. Are going to drive.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a very interesting thing that's going to happen here. So take a note. Because Binkss performed so well in the regular season, there's this entrance, delayed entrance they call it, which means that Binkss in this first round gets the advantage that he doesn't have to drive against all other players. It's actually only going to be him versus Papou, and then the round after, Bren, who was the 3rd best, is going to join in.
Really?
So Binkss and Papou get a much better chance at winning this very first round. They're going 1 versus 1 for this first win. And to explain the format a little bit more in depth, you need 4 wins, 4 map wins, or round wins, to secure yourself. But keep in mind, this is 1 lap. This track takes about 1 minute and 8 seconds to complete, and we are already halfway through the race with Papou building up a small lead.
Yes, I did not know this. This makes it even more interesting in my opinion. Seems like Binkss is a little bit behind, but everything can happen, especially in the Ice Snake.
Yeah, exactly, and he gained back the deficit there. Better speed now into the bank turn. Papou, one of the legends of playing dirt in this game, but Binkss chose this map as his best one. Can he win it out in the ice section? Wider setup, better speed in the slide. Papou now on the back foot, way behind, trying with an early approach, but that's going to cost him in the next slide. And this should be Binkss securing the first win.
Oh, the speed! That was impressive by Binkss there.
3 more to go there for Binkss to secure himself. That's how the format works. Great first round there. Now we're going into the second round, and suddenly there is one more driver on the track, I believe, or is there? Looks like it's still a 1 versus 1 here. So Papou versus Binkss for the second time. Okay, this time though, Papou with way more speed here.
Yeah.
Binkss has made a small mistake, and he doesn't really get to stabilize it before he gets to this part. Now they're equal in speed, and the loss was 0.2 of a second.
Can he catch up though? As we saw, he kept a lot of speed in the ice snake, so maybe that is his plan, to get there and just like zoom the win.
Also here, he had more speed with this right setup on the loop, and yeah, it's again equal. But as I said, Papou, he has played so much dirt in Trackmania. It's his main style, and he is holding on here against Binkss. Binkss still taking a little bit tighter approach, getting closer, and now this wide ice setup that we saw from the best ice players is one that Binkss is trying to do. He has a better approach for the second turn as well, and unless Papou can make something happen here in the last one, it will be Binkss with a quick 2-0, and he's gonna make it.
I thought he bonked and was like,
it looked like he almost bonked, yeah.
But Papou was close there. He almost caught up in the first ice turn. But the second one, he lost a lot of speed.
Yeah, the thing there, it's so much about your setup. You don't really look too much at where the cars are, but like what trajectory they have. So Binkss, he sets up wide to try to get more speed. Papou out now, and
touch the wall.
And Spam and Bren are joining the fight.
Oh, okay, 2 more players on the field. Let's see. Bren with a very good start here.
Yeah, everyone else has crashed.
Yeah.
Bren is just on a victory path already. Half a second, that is not a lot if you think about it in real life, but in Trackmania, half a second is so much of a lead. And already here, he is trying to knock out the other players. You can build up a big enough lead that if the other players cannot catch up, you will get a knocked out win. And that is almost it. You need to have 0.75 for 3 checkpoints in a row. But
that is so cool.
He was barely able to catch back up Spam, so he is within range. It is going to take a miracle on the ice, though, and it looks like Bren has this under control.
Unless Bren just slides out, he has this. It looks like he doesn't make a mistake, and he takes the point.
And what a fast time, too. That's the fastest time we've seen yet. Bren 1:08.6. So even though the other players crashed, it's a hard time to match to win.
Are we gonna see another player here? Oh, it's still the 4?
Yes, every 2 rounds, there's 2 new players.
Okay. Seems like already Binkss was knocked out, I think.
Yeah, Binkss and Bren actually have both crashed in the starting phase here. We see some mistakes there.
As you can see, these are pro players. So if they wanted to, they could not crash at all, but these are taking risks right here because they know they need to win. Second place is not good enough right now.
The problem is always like to win against the best players in the world, you actually have to drive. Like what if you're one of the best players in the world?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you make one mistake, you're out. But at the same time, if you're not pushing enough, you're gonna lose on pace. Spam here though, great pace in this round, and this was where Spam secured himself from the bottom for the 5x round, where he barely clutched it out. Oh, this is shaky for all the players. Spam is so wide on that slide. He is going to lose a bit of time in the next setup, but I think he has that under control. Spam taking round 4.
It's pretty spread out on the points right now.
It is.
Not really one player taking it all.
And now we're going on to map number 2. This was picked by Papou, and he picked Launchpad, your favorite map.
I really like this one. I think it's a lot of fun.
Let's have a look at the preview to see what this map looks like, Majijej. What do you like so much about Launchpad?
I remember very much the first time I played it, and I thought it was just so fun. I really like reactor boosters and the like long turns. I was really happy to finally see an ice slide on this one, because we hadn't seen ice up until now. And a lot of people think the last jumps through the rings are very random, but it is a very special technique you can do to do them very clean and every single round. So we'll see if they can do that.
Yeah, so this map has been adapted a little bit. You can see we just instantly go into the quarter pipe, and we have 2 more players on the field now. That being a Binkss. No wait, do we? I think they both retired. So Tween has joined the fight in 5th, and then the other 2 will join, as Carl Jr. will be the 6th player in this round.
Yes.
But he is not attending. So 5 players here. Want to tell you about the world record here, a 1:04.34 by Mutta.
That is so fast.
We'll see how close they can get to that. But as mentioned, the Ice Mutta, one of the clear best players on that surface.
And also remember, the track has been changed. So on the ice, you could only see 1 line checkpoint. They have changed the checkpoints and the starting. So it might be a little bit different to drive now. Also with the length of the track.
Yeah, it can take more space. And there was this one shortcut players theorized in the ending, in the reactor boosters. Let's see if anyone will go for it. If so, they will jump over. But no, it has been adapted. There is a checkpoint. And Papou will take that one with a 1:04.80.
Beautiful jump by him. He kept a very low line, so he had a lot of speed out of it. And it's now 2-1-1-1. Points are very spread on this one so far. Not one person taking the lead. We'll see. You can see Binkss has 2 points, so he is in a tiny bit of a lead, but he needs 2 more wins to secure his spot in the next final. And
his advantage is about to be nullified. There is this round, but then after that, all the players are on the field. And if you're a worker and Kappa watching this, you're probably just eager to get going on the tracks, watching your opponents to secure more and more points. Binkss, as you said, with 2 more to go, and actually a good opportunity here, though Papou, and especially Spam with that speed across the grass, is going to be hard to fight for it. They're coming into the plastic section. You just want to do a tiny slide here all the way on high speed on plastic. That's how you gain speed. Now into the sharp drifts and the identity in the ending. No shortcuts possible, but if you release early here, you could try to catch back up with more speed. Looks close.
All players had a lot of speed in that ending, almost catching up, but Papou takes it in the end and now has 2 points, the same points as Binkss.
And this was his map choice. He picked this for good reason, it seems. 2 out of 2 wins so far. He's driving within half a second of Mutta's world record, which was a 1:04.34. But now I'm very curious to see how Kappa will do on the track, as Binkss hits the checkpoint, instant DNF. He will not win this round.
You could see his line. He knew he was going to hit it and he was ready to DNF. That's very unfortunate. Coming into the ice slide here, it seems like Tween has a lead, which is probably very nice for him. Has the fewest rounds so far. Really needs those points, but loses a bit of speed here.
Oh, and Worker hits the wall. Tween actually extends up into 1st now, but Bren right on his heels towards the identity. You can gain a little bit of speed here if you do so-called speed slides well. And then we have the technical part 2 drifts. Here, if you release the acceleration early to get a full speed line through the rings, as Bren is trying right now, look at the air time. He might gain this back, Bren.
He has so much speed, but it's not enough. And Tween takes his 1st point. That must feel so nice from Tween.
Yeah, you could really get stuck if you watch all your opponents just climb ahead and you're at 0. Getting that 1st one on the board's gotta feel nice for the remaining rounds.
The 2 players that hasn't got a point yet is Kappa and Worker, but they were also later in the round, so maybe they can secure their 1st point now. Let's see.
Let's take a look at Kappa once again, who we saw lose a bit of speed on the ice. It's so important to get a good exit here. That's what you're looking for. The car angle, when you drop off the ledge here, you have to straighten out the car beforehand. If you land too sideways, that will cost you massive amounts of speed as Binkss, slides out out of the fight. Worker clipping the edge. He will be out of it. But it is Bren in the lead ahead of Papou right now. Bren on his way towards a second one perhaps. Or Papou could just be 1 point away from winning the first round.
Papou is catching up though. It's all in the last jump through the rings. Who could have the lowest line and the most speed? What happened to Bren? He went so Papou clipping. It was a close one, but that mistake, oh, that must be a sour point to lose.
Almost had it there, Papou, but yes, the ring jump, different trajectories. You saw how low Bren jumped. He disappeared from the field of view and then came right back to secure the win. We are going on to map 3. This is Bren's map choice. This is Bolt Holes, built by Rocket. The longest map, actually, out of the map pack here, with, I think, the world record being around, let me check my notes here. We have 117 as the world record, set by Hugo, one of the Open Grand League players. But every time around 118 here is very respectable. Difficult jumps through the bolts here to get up to the finish. First round is starting. Let's take a look at how the players do.
They have actually changed this map a little bit as well. The black top the
edge.
The edge was not there before, and after the jump we're coming up to, they have changed it as well. You might spot it actually yourself. We're coming up to now, making it actually easier to drive, in my opinion.
Oh, they removed the gap here. So this drift now, no worries of falling into the hole.
Yes.
And you can much easier plan your racing line for that turn. So that's our change we've seen since the regular season. I think a healthy update to the map.
Yeah, I was actually surprised they changed it for the one lapper, which you can risk more. So it's not that scary, but I think it's nice for the drivers to have a little bit more safer lines to go for.
Yeah, but this ending though is gonna be nothing but safe. We know Tween's great on this map. We know Kappa as well. They practice so much when this map was the final one. Look at all the cars going for the jump side by side. Who gets the most speed? Looks like Kappa had it for a second, but Tween still holding on to that lead. Great wide landing for the jump here, and without any mistakes in the end, it's gonna be Tween 1:18.29, and he opens with the second point.
That is so clean from Tween. I think this is the scariest map in my opinion. So if you clip just a little bit of the bolt holes, hit it a little bit, just a pixel, you will get shot out to the side, and it's very hard to save yourself there. So very clean from Tween.
And this what he had a world record on this on 6 laps when it was played in regular season. He didn't go for too much that step. I think he got a 2x multiplier, but this is one that really suits him. Tween originates from technical style. This has a lot of drifts, not so much dirt as you might see on other tracks, and it's a great map for him, and he's proving it right here, going into the lead again, looking for another point. Despite not being able to pick a map, this was picked by Bren, who's currently down in 4th.
Yeah, Bren is not doing the best right now. I was thinking he would lead more because it was his map pick, but maybe he's gonna surprise us very soon. You never know what happens through the holes.
What you can say though is that he has been able to secure 2 points on someone else's choice, meaning that, you know, that's already a great performance, because that's not something you can take for granted. But look at this round again. It's super exciting when all the cars are so close. Tween trying to go for a low jump, but Bren has the most speed here. Is it going to be enough to close the gap? It's Papou, Tween side by side. Tween missing the jump, Papou staying ahead. Bren with a close jump though! And he takes it!
Snipes him right before the finish! Oh, that must feel great for Bren. On his map choice, he only needs 1 more point and he will secure himself in the next round. Let's see, anybody else competes with him? It is his map choice, so maybe he was waiting for this opportunity.
Yeah, I feel we were calling that too early, talking about how he was in 5th place. The rounds are, I mean, you can't even split apart the cars. They're all just in a mush right now. Super close fight on every single round. Bren setting up wide here for the jump. A line he's practiced to try to land. with more speed in the quarter pipe. A bit bouncy, he makes it through, but here's gonna lose a little bit of ground to Tween, who's once again up in the lead. And you can see the
very wide. No, I think the pressure is getting to him. Making small mistakes. It's so easy. Just a tiny extra like wide line and you will hit the wall, just as we saw. So maybe Tween has this. He might feel the pressure too though.
Oh, but this line from Worker is gonna give him more speed across the penalty grass, and suddenly he's side by side with Tween. Now they go for this diagonal jump on the first one, and that is almost good.
He clips the wall!
But Tween, not again! He misses for the second time. Spam gonna miss! Who will? Kappa wins.
Everybody just falling right and left. It was a massacre. That must feel great from Kappa, the only survivor of that round.
Yeah, that was disaster for most players, but Kappa, he's just gonna walk through the dust and secure his first point of the match. Now Worker, the only player without a win so far. Had a chance there though, just a little bit off on the bolt hole jumps. But let's see in the final round on this map, who is gonna take it? I think we had a crash in the back of the field. There might have been Worker, yes, who respawned. So it's now a 6-way fight.
And Tween DNF'd as well.
Oh, then it might have been Tween, sorry,
I
who
think he bonked
crashed. Then.
Crashed.
Yeah, Worker's still in the fight. Papou, though, hitting the wall. He's out of there. And now Bren with a good chance at securing this, actually, in the lead with the red badge. That means only one win away from securing a spot in the final 6 match. Later tonight, Binkss here gonna try to deny him and secure himself another point in the lead ahead of Bren, but with an awkward approach. Bren is gonna have the upper hand if he lands this jump with more speed. He does miss it a little bit, and the wall touch will put him out. Will Binkss secure this? Yes, he will. Binkss
get his 3rd point and also a finalist right now. We have 2 finalists. 2 people that can secure themselves to the next round of the competition. So let's see who can be the first. Maybe not any of them. Maybe someone else is coming.
You mentioned someone else, and someone else did pick this map. That was Spam. Spam picking the next map. Oh, we actually have the wrong preview here. Poolside being the next map. Pool Party being the 5th map, decided randomly, but Poolside is the map Spam chose. World record being a 1:11:09 set by Evon, who is in the Challenger League. They're gonna play this next weekend, but this is an exciting map. Originally, it wasn't in the playoff map pack, and then Nadeo put it in to everyone's, I hope everyone's pleasure, because it's such a great map to watch. Here you'll see why. There's a lot of great racing lines you can take on this map.
I find this map very fun, specifically because it's so different from a lot of other maps we see with the pools that you have to dip your car into.
Yeah, and well, true, but it's also that there's so many different lines the players drive. Sometimes when you watch Trackmania, it feels like everyone's doing the same thing. Here there's like 10 different lines you drive, and they all sort of balance out in the end. Here you want to land wide, and now we might see some players go for this triangle approach to get a better line towards the downhill. That saves a little bit of time. Here there's also an outside dirt approach where you go all the way up. Looks like no one is fancying that one. It's a very risky approach. And then near the end of the lap here, you can either not slide the car or slide. And you're gonna see Spam here go for this left side approach around the pole, reducing airtime, getting supposed to get more speed towards the water, but it all almost balances it out, and Spam is in the lead on his map choice here with 1 turn to go. Papou only a car length behind, more speed perhaps.
But he loses grip and Spam takes it. Even with the touch in the checkpoint, he takes the lead on this one. The first point on his own chosen map.
I think Spam there proving he has a lot more to go. As you said, he crashed that round sort of and still got a win.
And now Spam also with 2 points. Can he win this next one and get a finalist? Papou hits right into the wall and DNFs. He is out of the counting for this round. Let's see. Kappa is in the lead on this one. Kappa only has 1 point already. Really want to prove himself, I imagine. Can he keep this lead though? It's a lot of the track left and Spam is in his heels.
Oh, but that is a beautiful line by Kappa. He used every single pixel on that dirt corner. And now he's extending this lead to Spam, but we know that Spam does this first drift approach in the uphill, then the outside pole line to try to get more speed towards the water. And this is an equation the players have worked on, I'm sure, to find out what the best strategy is. You're gonna see a bit of change of positions here. Kappa's gonna be in the lead temporarily. Now Spam with more dry tires can go for this, get more speed and a better approach, and suddenly they're even again with 2 turns to go. Who's gonna get the best dives here? Kappa looked like he missed that approach a little bit, and Spam will secure another win. Back-to-back wins for Spam, and also getting pretty close to the world record here. Only 0.3 of a second away.
And we have another finalist. 3 finalists, 3 people that are fighting for the first spot in the next round of this competition. Can Spam get 3 points in a row? Imagine.
Yeah, and you can see why he picked this map, I imagine.
Yes, definitely.
2 out of 4 already, but 2 out of 2 in the rounds we've played. Certainly a good performance worker, though. Still no wins and another crash. It's gotta hurt a little bit. Not sure where he's gonna see his opportunity, but maybe once some of the really strong players we've seen so far qualify, there might be a chance to secure some points.
That is true. It's gonna get not easy, but easier the next rounds as more people secure themselves a spot in the next round.
But we have seen Spam now DNFs. The hat trick is not gonna happen.
Oh no.
But will Binkss be our first qualifying player? He is in the lead. Red badge, as you can see, tween a little bit behind with the outside approach happening. Will he recover the deficit?
Goes for the safe line there, actually. Not drifting wide, but going very close.
But it's 2 finalists in the lead, and that's gonna be Binkss, secured into top 6 at 1:11.50. Binkss is your first out of 6 players that go to the next round.
That must feel great for Binkss. Has some time to relax, getting ready for the next rounds where it's only 6 players left. Can we get another finalist maybe? Either Spam or bren? I imagine Spam is very frustrated over DNFing the last round. Maybe he takes this one back.
Yeah, the thing too is there is only 1 player that will not make it through, and considering like the entire race, he's certainly in a good position, but we have seen players crumble at this. Finalist mode in Trackmania has been around for so many years, and you know you're just that 1 round away when you have the red badge. You're so close, but you still have to win, and if it doesn't happen immediately, it could be a bit difficult to get it through.
The pressure must be so high. Imagine, they're already nervous. They have 1 spot to take in the final next week, and it's all on this. I imagine seeing the finalists must be so stressful, but can Spam take this? Kappa with earlier into it, Spam with a lot of speed.
Oh, but we've seen this ending crush so many hopes and dreams throughout the season. Who's gonna get it this time? Kappa with the speed across the finish line will secure that 1:11.40. Great winning time as well. Kappa now up to 2 points. Also in the mix.
Worker with the only one that hasn't gotten a point yet. Hopefully he will not crumble under the pressure. Maybe secure his first point in this next map.
And that next map is Pole Party, a map we saw in the very first step and all throughout the first steps of the season. It's been a while, but I think it's a welcome back, a welcome return to the Grand League. This map is tense. If you look at the leaderboards on this map in a 1-lap format, there's less than 100th between the top 3 players. The world record being, let me see if I got my notes here correct. It's set by Mutta. I think it's a 1:16.095 is the world record. So we might see some players get very close to that because they have this one down to the hundreds refined.
This is the map that has been out for the longest, as you said, so they have had the most time to practice this one. Is it in the fingers? The scary part here is you have to go very, very close to the pole and be very precise. So if you're a little bit too nervous and do a wrong tap, you will hit the poles. As you can see here, so close.
Yeah, they're just barely navigating through there, but they all make it by the looks of it. Only 0.3 between all 6 players in the splits. And let's see now, Bren in the lead, trying to join his countryman Binkss in the top 6. Papou as well up there, but Spam, a lot of speed across this platform, catching a little bit back up. Very important in this dirt corner to turn the car gently on the exit so you get more grip on the platform. Bren still extending, but the others are keeping up just as much as they can. The final turn here, who will have the most speed towards the poles? Bren getting a lot of speed. Can he weave his car dancing through? He will.
So clean, and he will take the next spot together with Binkss. Must feel great for Bren. And Spam is the only finalist left. Maybe he will secure the next spot.
And you have to think, like, for Bren especially, you know, such a good regular season, as you said. He was the best performing player without the multiplier format, and perhaps felt a little bit robbed from that Spam going flying. But Bren, as we mentioned, after a tough regular season, though he played well and didn't get the necessary wins, now to just show up, get the second spot in the top 6, it's gotta be a relieving feeling. But let's take a look at this round. We have only Spam as a finalist. He's DNF. No one will advance here, but someone could get the red badge. Papou and Kappa side by side into the dirt. And I think we'll see on the exit speed here who has the upper hand. Papou getting more, Kappa into the wall, and is Tween even in range to stop this? I think Papou might have it.
He can catch up if Papou do a tiny mistake, but it looks like Papou have driven very consistently well these rounds. So let's see, can Tween snipe it though? It's all in the last poles. Who has the most speed? Who is the most precise through the poles? We're coming up, let's see. Tween catching up slightly, but Papou with too clean of lines, and he takes the next finalist spot.
And just to put into perspective how good that time is, that is 76 seconds of driving, and he just drove within 0.2 of a second of the world record. Not just from this group of players, but from all Trackmania players, including the finalists that will play next week. They practice this map to 1:16.29. It's an insane time from Papou.
Even in a live round with all this pressure, he managed to almost get the world record on this map. That shows how good these players really are, even when it's so much pressure on them.
Oh, but the pressure, as you said.
The pressure got him.
Speaking of the sun, and then it shines, is a saying in Norwegian. And now the sun is shining for Kappa, though. Another chance for a win, and we gotta see Worker a little bit too far, I think. It's coming down to Tween versus Kappa, the old Sumpy teammates. They were in the World Championship final versus one another in 2018. That time Kappa won. Now this time, will Tween have the upper hand? Kappa too low on the dive, and yes indeed, Tween here might even get the knockout win. That's one checkpoint. He's gonna get the second one here, but he will have to survive the poles to secure the win.
That is true. If you hit the pole there, you will have to respawn and lose so much speed, but he didn't. And Tween secure himself also on a finalist point. We have 3 finalists now. They only need to win one more round. It doesn't matter if they get second. They have to win to secure themselves a spot with Binkss and Bren.
And I imagine now, if you're a Worker, right, you see all of those red name tags, you see Kappa, and it's just, what do you do? It's collapsing almost, because the others are so far ahead. This is gonna have to be a massive comeback from Worker if he wants to stay in it. And with Kappa now crashing as well, I think we're gonna have another finalist coming up securing himself.
I think so.
Oh, but look at this, Papou and Spam, they both made a tiny mistake. Tween, way more speed across the platform, half a second, and this is nearing now a knockout. He needs 75 hundredths to get in that range.
If he keeps up this speed, it looks like we might get our first knockout, but Papou and Spam are keeping a lot of speed right here. So let's see, we're coming into the dirt turn where you can lose a lot of speed if you do too much of steering there.
Yeah, Tween still sitting ahead. The field is spinning. He had really no chance though, had to risk a little bit to catch up. It is understandable. Tween, another good chance here. Going through the poles, we only see his tag, but he will make it through. That's a GG for Tween. He is on to the final 6.
That must feel so good for Tween. One of the last people that started this round. One of the last people that was able to secure himself a point, but he gets a finalist so early.
Yeah, that's true. He had one of the worst starting positions. Had to wait and just sit and watch others drive. Now we are back on Icy Snake. We have had a look at it, so let's just see how the players get along in the warm-up. 3 spots left to fight for, 4 players left. Papou and Spam in a very good spot.
And hopefully Worker can catch himself up, get himself together and secure his first point. It can be so detrimental, feels so bad to sit there, but he can catch up. I believe in him.
Yeah, I mean, in these situations, it's kind of all or nothing, right?
Yes.
But you have to give it a shot to try. And then if it's not enough, it's not enough. You can go again next season. But for now, he is looking like he's not giving up at all. He's trying his best here. And perhaps Icy Snake is the map he was waiting for, as this might be one of his better ones. Here, keeping up with the others a little bit wide, but a lot of speed to show for it. But it is Kappa and Papou up in the lead, quite far ahead now, especially after that turn. The Worker lost a little bit more ground.
Seem like Spam is falling a little bit behind, so the only other finalist is Papou. Will Papou secure himself on the first round? But Kappa is shooting ahead, it seems, with very a lot of speed, and Spam catching up as well. Maybe it's not lost for Spam this round.
Yeah, we thought Spam was out, but look at this. Spam is back in the fight. Will this be just like in step 8 when he qualified on the final hurdle? He's trying, but Kappa, oh, that's a beautiful eye slide.
So
Can't
close.
do much more than that. I mean, he had a great ending, but Kappa secures that one. Now Worker's got to feel the pressure though, because there's only finalists. If Worker wants to qualify, he has to win 4 out of the next 6 rounds, I think, to beat someone. So he needs 4 and he can afford to lose 2.
Yes. Worker is in the lead in the start. It seems like Worker has a good start compared to the others, but is falling a little bit behind in the middle section. Can he keep up his speed though?
Yeah, this is where he lost it last time. He went a little bit too wide on this exit. You can see Kappa here, Sharper Pro, tried it, but messes up, and suddenly Worker's approach isn't looking too bad. Spam will have more speed throughout the corkscrew loop, and here across the dirt, he can extend a little bit. Where will Worker try to answer back? Goes too wide. Oh, that's an awkward setup. Spam with the lead here. Worker's gonna have to do some magic on the ice.
Yes, Spam has shown that he's very good at the last ice slide, but maybe the pressure is getting to him and he will slide out, so Worker gets his chance. But it seems like Worker has too little speed, and oh, he clips as well, so Spam takes it and will secure the next spot.
Spam is through quite thematically, like in step 8. What a magical comeback that was. Here we go with only 3 players remaining, and gotta think Papou, you know, he was one of the first players to get to finalist status, but here is still, you know, falling behind a little bit. He won many times on Launchpad, and we might get there again if he doesn't close it out.
This shows how stressful and scary finalists can be. Even if you get finalist early, doesn't mean you are safe. You still have to get that last win to actually secure yourself a position.
Yeah, and we see some questions here. Only 6 players advance. 1 player will be eliminated from this round. And of course, at the end of the day, we'll only be left with 1 player. That's what this tournament is about, is to determine the 1 player that gets to join the other 8 in the finals next weekend. Right now, Kappa and Papou fighting for this one. And across the ice, let's see who takes it. Kappa here, better setup for the first slide. A little bit late to this one. This might be where Papou gets back, but no, Kappa should have this in the ending. Oh, very close, but good enough to make it work. Kappa goes through, and it's now Papou versus Worker.
Yes, it can seem that Worker is lost here, but there is always time for a comeback. Can we see him actually fight himself back and get those points he need?
I mean, the thing here is, in a 1 versus 1, you could have David versus Goliath, but it's all about momentum. It's all about if you can get 1 or 2 wins and get into your opponent's head to make them think that you are stronger than you are, you could really win psychologically. So Worker here, I mean, he has to win this round, but if he wins it by a big margin, he could put a lot of pressure on Papou here, who has still yet to close out his finals attempt. So now into the loop we go. Worker still with the lead here. Papou sees that big red number 2 on his car, and he has nothing to lose by risking. Can burn a couple of attempts here, but in the dirt, in his domain, Papou will stay level with Worker and more speed on the exit. Worker hits the wall, and that's gonna bleed time across the snow, as he won't get a proper setup here. Papou extending further and further, and at this point it is just a technicality to close it out. We'll get it with the final ice slide.
It seemed to be so close coming up to the ice slide there, but just that tiny mistake ruins it all. Unfortunately, Worker is then out of the run for the finalist spot.
And I think also, you know, it's just so difficult. If you don't get ahead early and you start to lose more and more rounds, it's just like, it feels too much pressure. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. And especially in a game where you're so dependent on your hands. If you start to shake, getting nervous, getting stressed, it can show so much on how you drive. Yeah,
and like, you know, it's hard to get the feeling of how stressed can you really get in, you know, a racing game. But the thing you gotta remember is, like, I've played Trackmania competition myself. I'm sitting there, like, heartbeat going like I'm running a marathon. Hands, as you said, just trembling.
They're like shaking.
And you're trying to play, you're freezing up, you're locking up. It's not working that well if you're stressed. So Worker is out. We do have the round of final 6 coming up pretty soon. I think we're gonna have about a 5-minute break. That is to let the players pick new maps and
also people have to probably go to the toilet, drink some water, breathe, you know. They need a little bit of a break. So
do you think the players should be allowed to breathe in the break? Just take a small breathing break?